Hi you guys, thanks for joining me in another video. If you're new here, my name is Olivia. I homeschool two kiddos. I have a 10-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. Technically, we're just wrapping up our 4th grade year for my son and her kindergarten year for my daughter. And I did do curriculum videos where I showed everything that I had bought and we had planned to do for the upcoming school year. And I have separate videos for a 4th grade curriculum and a kindergarten/1st grade curriculum for my daughter. I will link those below. And I kind of just wanted to do like an end of the school year mini review, where we're at, what I thought about those. These videos talking about the curriculum that you just used for the school year can be really informational and helpful. Don't get me wrong. Homeschool mamas, new homeschool mamas, or you've been in the game homeschool mamas, we love new curriculum and it's really, really fun. And sharing those things is always exciting, and I can't wait for when we're in a place to buy some more stuff too. For people who are new here, I just had my 3rd baby at the beginning of February. So she's 3 months old right now, and whoa, that was, not that I wasn't expecting it to be a life shakeup, but I thought it's so different now because we're doing things at home, whereas before when I had my second, my son was like already established in preschool, and then I was dropping him off at a kindergarten, and there was like a lot of back and forth, and I was like, it'll be different because it's, like homeschooling. It won't be like so much of a life shakeup. Yeah, it was. And not that, I mean, like maybe a tad bit naively, I was not downplaying that I thought that it was going to be new and that there were going to be changes and that there were going to be some difficult times until we got into our groove. But yeah, I think it's, still different when you're in it and you're living it. And so we took a full month off of school after I had my youngest. That month was so needed and it was so special, and it didn't exactly go as I had hoped and planned. There was a lot more like medical things and appointments than I was hoping for or expected, and that took us out of the home more than I wanted for sure. And so it wasn't quite as like peaceful and like low stress. Those aren't things that we can plan for though. So taking that month off was a really good chunk of time for us to just kind of like bond and pivot where I think we needed to, and take a break and enjoy other things in life. One of the beauties of homeschooling is that we can take it as slow or make it work for us as much as we need to. And that's definitely what I did. And we almost always take a really big chunk off in December as well, and the last like week and a half of November. And then in my 3rd trimester in January, I was not always feeling a ton of effort to do a full school's day worth of like sit down work. So we really did a lot of like beauty subjects, and we leaned into some art stuff, and we watched a lot of documentaries, and we watched a lot of National Geographic and videos like that. My kids' activities did not stop. So my son still had violin and my daughter still had ballet, and they were still in their discipleship group that they go to every week with like dozens of other kids. And so it wasn't just like a bubble for them, but for me, like I felt like I really needed as much like peace as I could find in between all of those appointments and then all of the activities that I just really, we didn't do a whole lot. And so we are finishing things up and trekking through now. I know a lot of people like to buy curriculum for the upcoming school year or start shopping around and searching in like March through June. That sort of thing is when a lot of content creators will put forth things that they've researched and they are going to be doing, which can be helpful for people who are buying things in like June through September or what have you. So I don't know when I'm going to be getting to new curriculum, but I did want to go over the things that I said that we are going to be using this year and what I think about them, like looking back now. Okay. I love these Memoria Press. This was the 4th grade American History discussion questions for supplemental reading set. I bought most of the books from each one of these. It has a table of contents and it tells you all the books that this goes over, and they are historical books. I talked a lot about this in the curriculum video for 4th grade. Like I said, I'll link that down below. I still love these. This is such a good and fun way of learning history, and we did more of this than we did with our history textbook, even though we love that history curriculum. The things that my son remembers most when like we talk, something comes up, because like that is life, conversations come up, and like something about history will come up and it'll be like, oh yeah, that person or that time or that thing in history, whatever. He knows most about those things from the literature sets. There is some kid-aged biographies, and then there's also some fictional novels, and so it's a mix of those. I'm really enjoying these. I have not looked to see if they have a 5th grade set for this supplemental reading, but I love having like those collections of books, those historical books, novels in the house for my kiddos, and my son is really loving these. Okay, this was the first year that I bought The Good and the Beautiful Handwriting, and my son said he doesn't mind if I flip through a couple of these. This is the 4th grade level. He had never learned cursive before, so I think they teach cursive from this program in like 3rd grade. Their 3rd grade set might start with it. I can't remember. Anyway, I think for never doing cursive before, he does great. He really enjoys this because even though it's 4th grade, they still have some like little activities, something to draw, a maze to do, some sort of activity that makes it fun. He really likes that. We're trekking through that. I will probably buy the 5th grade book when it's time for him to come out of that one. This was our like individual Bible studies. There's also one I'll show you for my daughter. This was for 3rd and 4th grade ones. These are really short and sweet. It lays it out just like a small piece for each day, and some like an activity and some questions about the reading. So we do these as a family. It tells you what it is that you're reading for the week, and these correspond well with if you're within the same academic, like if you purchased within the same academic year, no matter what grade you buy through, the selections that you're reading from are the same. The verses and the passages are the same. So you can do this as a family through different age groups. This is Geography 1. This is also through Memoria Press. So this is Memoria Press. This is Geography. I was doing this because I was like, we did a little bit of some American geography here and there throughout like his 1st through 3rd grade years. He didn't really it was kind of just like a check in the box, and I despise those kind of curriculums anyway. I didn't want to not expose him to geography though, and so I looked through these from Memoria Press, and this has actually turned out to be one of his favorite things, and I think why. So there's the workbook, and this is an example that I could show. So they do it in sections. This workbook is the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe. So here's an example of the British Isles, and then so they do the chunk of the region. So you have like a review of the region you're doing, and then it breaks it down nation by nation. And it's all of the like common things you would do, the country, the capital, and then it has you label geography around the country as well. So that kind of repeats for each country. The fun thing is it has in here like what's a fun fact, and so he knows so much even about history from this because there's a lot of recorded history there. So anyway, here's an example of Switzerland and Liechtenstein, and it gives some history. It gives some history headlines. It gives you an example of what their flag is. It gives a bigger map of it, and then it has just some obviously every country is going to have something different. This gives you a little passage on the Swiss Army and the Red Cross. It talks about different religions, landforms around it, but each country is going to have something different that they list. Anyway, it makes it exciting instead of just geography. It brings in some history, it brings in some fun facts. He has maps memorized in Europe and the Middle East right now that I'm just so impressed with. I will definitely be buying geography too. This comes with the student workbook. It comes with the student text. So the text is what gets the student to read to fill out the workbook. There's also a teacher manual. I literally forgot I had a teacher manual until I was going through trying to find something to pull back out a week ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a teacher manual in there. I completely forgot. If you've seen some of my other reviews about different things from Memoria Press, one of the things I cannot stand is that the teacher manuals are literally like, imagine this sheet of Estonia. The whole book is exactly the same as the student workbook. It just has all the answers printed out. But this is not some like obscure, hard to figure out answer. Like, you could have just done this with a key in the back of the student workbook, but they make you pay big money for the teacher text. And then there are like quizzes and tests in there that you can photocopy, which I completely forgot there was. But the workbook has like reviews in here, and then you just look at the open maps and grade it that way. So if you're purchasing this, unless you can find it cheap, brand new in a bundle sort of thing, if you're piecing it out, I would not bother spending money on the teacher guide. This was the Art by Memoria Press, the art curriculum that I purchased for my son. And when we get to this, it's fun. It definitely teaches like techniques. It's not just like doing fun art things, but it's techniques. And he's had a good time with it so far. Like it teaches, this also goes into some history. There's like an astronomy thing. There are some holiday things in here. Like this talks about like some Mesopotamian art and different art and history like that. And it has you do like a cave drawing or that sort of thing. It teaches you about landscapes. It teaches you about portraits, shades, the color wheel. It's a lot of art theory. We're having fun with it. It's not something that I think is necessary to buy. I also purchased through Lily and Thistle their like big watercolor unit. It was 50% off a handful of months ago. Video guided program, and it gives you access to the whole program plus whatever new is coming in. It was 50% off. I'm pretty sure I paid $100 for it, for like lifetime access. And it also has like watercolor art theory and that sort of thing, along with like draw alongs, coloring along, that sort of thing for other projects. And both of my kids really like that. Obviously my 10-year-old can accomplish it easier than my 5, now 6-year-old can. I purchased this because I saw Project Happy Home mention it. Project Happy Home, Tanya, and then also Arlene. I'm pretty sure her handle is Arlene and Company now. I will list them both down below. So I've been following Arlene on Instagram for years and years, and she's like was the very first person I feel like that I started following for homeschool things years and years ago. And she is a wealth of knowledge about tons of different curriculum. She posts lots of reviews. She posts lots of flip throughs, and I know that she recently started a YouTube channel as well a handful of months ago. So I will tag her down below. I have tagged Tanya at Project Happy Home several times. I think they find really cool workbooks, and I didn't think of myself as like a workbook heavy family, but you know, sometimes those workbooks are just what you need, and they get it done. And it's not just a check in the box thing, like they actually contribute. And some days, especially if you like I know Arlene has spoken about like some like chronic illness type things, or I also struggle with some autoimmune conditions, and there's some days where it's like, I don't think I can give you instruction, but I know that you're in the headspace where you can take instruction, and you can do that through your workbook today. So those happen. This is something Tanya mentioned. It's called The Reading Detective. I got the beginning one, Using Higher Order Thinking to Improve Reading Comprehension. These are fun. I got the grades 3 through 4th one. My son thinks that these are a lot of fun. You read a passage, and then it asks you to fill in some comprehension. She might have a better flip through, so I don't know if I'll be able to find that video, but I will post her channel and you can flip through all of her things that she talks in there. Okay, this is my first year to Worldly Wise. We just had never used a vocabulary curriculum before. We had always used language arts curriculums that had vocabulary components to it. I have no longer been buying language arts programs because my kids just have different needs where I really have to piece things together. I would love to buy a package deal and have like a language arts program. It just doesn't work for us right now. Maybe it will another time. There's like units, so it starts with a unit. So let's say this is unit 6, and it lists all of the different words they want you to use for this unit, some definitions, and then they have different ways to use it. So this is using words in context. You fill in if it's incorrectly used or correctly used. There's making connections, and then you're going to circle the right answer. Which word do you think? Determining meanings. There's like short answer, and then there's like a long answer option. So this and this are things that I pull out when I'm working with my daughter one-on-one. He's already blasted through his stuff. There's days where I know that he can take a little bit more, or that I want him to accomplish one of these things. So I'm like, okay, do a section from your logic and or do a section from your vocabulary, and we get those done. I would buy both of them again. I think they're fun. I might look into a different vocabulary program when I'm ready to get another vocabulary program. This is our history curriculum that I was talking about that we use in conjunction with the Memorial Press. This is Notgrass, our Star Spangled Story. There's a part 1. We have moved on to part 2 of the text. I have a whole review of this curriculum. I really enjoy it. My son really enjoys it. It's not heavy. It's a good exposure to different stories and pieces of history, and I would purchase this again. I still love it. I will list that video review also. We moved on to Grammar Town from Michael Clay Thompson. I have a whole review and discussion on, I'm pretty sure the first level of this is called Island. I'm trying to remember. So Grammar Island, it's a like language arts sort of curriculum through Michael Clay Thompson, and it teaches grammar and the 4 levels of analysis of how to analyze a sentence and all of the different components that go into that. It is so thorough and it is so comprehensive. We moved on to the second level, which is Town. It is a big jump. We went through this much slower than we went through the first level of it. We are now on paragraph, so there's always grammar first and then the next is the writing, and it was like Sentence Island, and I'm on paragraph Town with my son, and I will do a review of the Town level if anybody is interested in the Town level. It definitely differs. I was like, how much different can it be? Like, how much more could you learn? You learn a lot more. It's a lot different. So I would purchase this again, knowing that it's going to be heavy and we're going to move slowly through it. Okay, science. So I bought the Blossom and Root. We've been using Blossom and Root since our first year of homeschooling, and that was my son's first grade year. I've always bought the science, and it's something that we really love and it really works with us. I have another full in-depth flip through and review and how I use this lesson-wise. I will post that video. I bought this. This is for year 3, and I explained in that video also why, like, just because this is year 3 does not mean you can't use it for any of the elementary school years. We are still in the middle of this, even though we were in the middle, like, we were still doing this through year 3. I said we were going to do this and then move on, and I bought the next year. We have not gotten to that yet. There are so many, first of all, lots of things happening this year. So we haven't gotten through a lot of our curriculum that I probably purchased and expected too much going into it, knowing that I was pregnant last May and then still bought all of this thinking that we're going to get through this. We do school year round, so that gives us a lot of opportunity to fit in curriculum, but still, that's okay. We can go as slow as we need to go. You can go as slow as you need to go. You can go as fast as you need to go. Anyway, there's so many rabbit holes when it comes to the animal kingdom, because then like environmental science things come up and then we like delve into those. Or sometimes we're just not done in a week and we want to stretch what we're doing another week and try and fit in all the things, or watch all the videos. Yeah, lots of rabbit holes. We're still not done with this. We're moving pretty slowly through it. We'll probably get through this in the summertime and then move on to that other one that I had purchased for using this next year. Purchased IEW's Structure and Style Level A. There's so many reviews about this. I don't see myself doing a review about this. Lots and lots of people utilize this curriculum and have great flip through and reviews. I looked through several writing programs. There's so many. I was really conflicted to what to use this year, but I went with this, and it's a video style learning, and I liked that I was hands off with this, and I explained why in the curriculum video. And it really works well. I saw a huge shift in his writing and his writing abilities, along with this together. This is much more like I'm holding your hand, we're walking through every single step together, which I think worked well and was what we needed. And then I moved on to this, which is more like open-ended sort of thing. We got through 11 weeks of this. No, I think we got through 12 weeks of this. We did through Marco Polo. So we finished through Unit 4. There are 7 units, so 24 total. We got through half. And I was like, okay, we're gonna put this away. We will revisit this next year, start the second half. It takes up so much time. I understand why, because like it's like he's in a class. You turn on the video and it takes, anywhere from 25 to 40 minutes for the video component, depending on what unit, like what week and what unit you're on. It is very effective, and I appreciate it for what it is. And he loves the instructor in the video, and he's very easy to learn from. It is a commitment. And so halfway through the year, I was like, okay, that's it. We're wrapping it up. We'll move on. We'll revisit this. Do I think I will buy the level 2? I don't know. If I'm gonna go with this again, and not because it wasn't good. I think it was so good, and I would repurchase it. Like if we were starting from the beginning, like where we were, I would go with this again. Do I think that it needs to be an ongoing thing in our home? I don't know yet. I also purchased that writing curriculum through Memoria Press, so like composition or whatever. Yeah, friends, did not get to that. It was overly ambitious in everything that I got. I figured like the first half of the year we do this, the second half of the year we do the Memoria Press. It's a lot with the language arts, the MCT. We do a lot of life together. There's been a lot of Star Wars happening. There's been a lot of Pokemon happening. My kids are part of a Pokemon card club, getting out when we can. This was kind of a crappy, we live in Western Washington State, okay? From like October through March, it is cold and wet and dark. And so, those are not things that I like to lean into for outdoorsy things anyway. It's just not what draws me. I like those things when I'm inside and cozy. My kids are different. They're different than me. And in years past, I had still made a commitment to getting outside and still doing things, and being in my second and third trimester and having like ligament pain and sciatica during all of that, it wasn't happening. So we didn't do a lot of that. So we really just kind of like fell back into some family time, and it was so necessary. And it's actually been so nice. Other things that we do, like as a family, we also do the Brighter Day Press. We do not always follow along. We're in like the year 2, the book that has the Psalms, volume 2. And we do not always follow along with the Bible portion of that, but for the beauty portions of that, the composer, the artist, the poems, and the missionaries. Love reading those. We do those together. And the nature study through Treehouse Schoolhouse, have videos on both of those curriculums. We really love and do those too. Those things are fun. But you know, sometimes it's like a workbook and a core day. So this video was longer than I was wanting it to be. I had to do some updates. I still talked through some of the curriculums
because I can't help over explaining everything.
But if you want to know more about those, I did talk more about them, one in each of their individual videos, but also in my 4th grade curriculum video that I did last year around this time. I don't have time to share my daughter's, so I'm going to do a second video for that. It'll be much shorter because she was only in kindergarten, so she did not have half this much stuff. And that's what we've been doing. That's my update. And hopefully some of this, if you are interested in these things, this is kind of a good look through. I think for me, the reason why most of this curriculum worked and I don't have as many like, probably not for next year, is because I so heavily scrutinize things before I purchase them and dive into them and make that commitment that I feel like I try to check all of my boxes off first of what I'm looking for and what type of curriculum this will be before I purchase it, because curriculum is expensive. And also it kind of sucks to get into something, be in the middle of something, and then be like, oh, this isn't working, pivot, like next, you know, because then like you have to do double the work to find something new. Your kid's doing another double the work to learn something new. So for us, most of this stuff worked out. Will we eventually grow out of some of these curriculum? Yeah, probably, maybe, but it's really working for us right now. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I'm really excited to be back in doing some chit chat stuff. No, my baby's not napping because my baby doesn't nap. Dad gets to be home today, and so baby's with dad, and that's why I get to be here. So if I don't have as many videos pushing out as I was doing before, and that wasn't even a lot, that is why. It's because I don't have a napper, and she'll be awake if I'm talking, and so I can't just have her on my lap, and so I have to wait for Dad's off days. So that's how it's gonna be, and thank you for being part of that journey with me. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I love interacting with you guys. If you guys have stuff to say or questions, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.